I'm 𝗕𝗙𝗢𝗪. I own 𝗬𝗪𝗨'𝗟𝗏 Contracting and Home Services.
My name is 𝗬𝗢𝗅𝗟𝗏. I'm the owner of 𝗕𝗨𝗦𝗦𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗏 LLC.
So my name is 𝗬𝗨𝗦𝗧𝗟𝗏. I own a business called Phoenix Central Home Services.
My name is John Sherman. My name of my business is Affordable Handyman and Hauling.
My name is Mike Neal. I run a handyman business, the Humble Handyman.
Hi, I'm John Floyd.
My name is 𝗬𝗢𝗍𝗍𝗍. I'm 17 years old.
My name is Brittany. I own a business called The Humble Homemaker.
So my name is 𝗕𝗙𝗢𝗍𝗍. I'm Joseph's dad.
My name is Luke Maines. I'm from Murray, Utah.
Yeah, Ray, my name is Greg Schwan.
Yeah, sure. My name is Ben Alexander, and I started a handyman company there about 6 years ago called Hank's Handyman Services.
My name's 𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗧𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡. Actually, we live in Oklahoma.
My name is, first of all, 𝗕𝗨𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗡𝗦𝗦, right? I was born and raised in California.
My name is Britton, Crawford Contracting.
My name is Adrian Moeller, owner of 𝗕𝗦𝗙𝗄𝗧𝗏.
My name is Robbie, owner of RobertOwensHandyman.com.
I'm Elijah Hudson. I'm the helper.
My name is Bob Belts, Belts Concrete and Home Solutions.
My name is Jerry, Suburban Specialties.
My name is Matthew Richards, full service handyman, Dayton, Ohio.
My name is Troy. I run the Denton Handyman.
So Mike Neal, you've been here a couple times, literally at this particular spot, camping with me for a couple years now, almost a couple years. So I'd like you to tell me the story, because your business was new the first time I met you. So think back for me and just go to where all of this, wherever you feel all of this started for you, going towards this handyman business, and just give me your story.
Yeah, so we've had the business officially going for a year and I think 7 or 8 months now. I'm the owner of the Humble Handyman out of Virginia, and the way it started was kind of just, I was in between jobs, and, I have a wife and a kid, and I got to take care of them. So, I had some tools, and I asked the wife, maybe just make a Facebook post, so like, hey, rent out my husband, for a day. And she made a post, and, it happened so fast that within 24 hours, I had like the rest of that week, I had something every day. And it just happened to play out. Like on Tuesday, there's this person needs this, and it just worked out in their schedule. And then by the end of the week, there was even more people that needed help. And I was coming from a job that was only making $15, $16 an hour. And so, I did a little bit of research, and I thought, $25 an hour seems, that's pretty reasonable. But yeah, just quickly realized, like, okay, there's definitely demand, there's definitely a need, and this is something that I can do. And so it only took a couple months of just in that intermediate stage, or, really not even having a business, to go, this is the direction, let's do this, let's make this into something.
Yeah. If I can interrupt, what kind of work were you doing? Like the early days, the first things, was it more like unskilled, or did you feel you had skills that you were using already at that point?
I think I definitely had some skills. It's hard to remember back that far doing thousands of jobs at this point. But
it wasn't just moving boxes and hanging pictures.
No.
A little bit of plumbing, a little bit of electrical here and there.
Yeah,
as well.
Like doors not closing right, actually helping lay some LVP flooring, just nothing extreme. Definitely not like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that was mostly friends and family?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was people who needed...
And friends of friends and family.
Yeah, friends of friends. I don't think I did anything family, directly.
Okay. Oh, cool. Didn't mean to interrupt. Continue. I just was curious what kind of work it was.
Yeah, and really just, again, didn't take very long to go, okay, what's the next step that I need to do? And it was get insurance. I think that was it. So we, didn't have the LLC or anything like that. We just went and...
Business license yet or no?
No business license. not recommending that you do that.
Yeah, no, everybody starts somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. Yeah. But we understood, when I say we, me and my wife, we understood having at least insurance is like, that's smart.
It's probably the
one
I've given that advice when people say, I can't afford all of this, what would you recommend? And I'm like, well, I recommend all of it, but if you can't, I'd even say insurance is even more important than a business license. That's probably the place to start if you have to pick one.
Yeah, exactly. And so we just kind of wanted to ease into it, you know, because we didn't know exactly where it was going to go. And just didn't take long. And we were like, okay, we're going to, you know, how do I get an LLC? Like, how do I do that? You know, and then...
So around this time, how much were you charging roughly? Do you remember?
I think I might have increased it to, you know, $50 an hour, maybe. I think that was like right there, like getting insurance was like, okay, I can charge a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it was in between. Sometimes it was 25, depending on, you know, unskilled, or if it was something a little bit more complex, it was just renting myself out for an hourly rate.
That's cool.
Which again wasn't big jobs. It was, you know, 1 or 2 hours at most. Yep.
Cool. Were you the humble handyman at that point? Did you have a name yet?
No, didn't have a name. We were throwing some around, you know. I think the very first name, it was Mike of all trades.
I was Duke of all trades once, long time ago.
Yeah, just trying to come up with that, but just didn't have anything set.
Yeah, cool. So you got insurance, and then what?
Well, the person I am is somebody that, you know, if I don't know something, I'm going to do a little research, you know. My wife kind of pokes at me a little bit, you know. She's like, that I'm always like researching if I'm going to even get, you know, a faucet. Like,
you got to make a spreadsheet for everything.
Exactly, yeah. I want to know what are the problems with this product versus that or whatever. So I just used that. I used that and went, okay, well, what do handymen do? There's got to be information out there. There's got to be a YouTube channel. And I came across your channel, and I don't remember what video it was that I saw, but there was something about you that I was like, this guy is the real deal. He's not trying to sell me something. He's just giving me the information, which was exactly what I wanted. I just wanted the information. I didn't need to know all the fluff in a way. And so I just went back to the oldest video. I wanted to know where you came from. Yeah, I wanted to know where you came from, how you started, because that would give me a better idea. And so I just started watching every video in sequence. And eventually you had put out one that was, this is step by step on how you start and get your LLC. And I literally just followed that. I just took one step at a time.
Nice.
And you're right. You could get it done in 3 days or something like that. It did take me a little longer.
Oh, if you had all the money and all the time, you could do it pretty fast.
Yeah. But again, it was more.
The point, I think, if you'd agree, is that it's easy.
It's easy.
It's not whatever you think is like complicated when you imagine if you've never owned a business. It's this big, complex, scary monster that you wouldn't even know how to approach building. And it turns out there's like 12 steps.
Yep.
And you just do step 1, and then you do step 2, and then you do step 3, and it's done. And you're just a business owner with clients all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I think going into it like just not knowing anything about business at all, you're going to run into some verbiage, some words that you're not familiar with, like what is a DBA or something like that. And you can just go look up that.
Turns out there's answers.
Yeah, there's an answer for that. Just go find that out, and then it's clear, and you can understand that and go, oh, okay, now I know. And you just move forward with each step. Yeah, it's really that simple.
Cool. So you got your insurance. You eventually got your LLC.
Yep.
Business license somewhere within that same mix.
Yep. Business name.
$50 an hour still, or did you go up at that point, or was that later?
That was basically the time when the LLC got established. I had watched enough of your videos to understand, okay, I want to be around this $125 charge, and to move away from the hourly rate and go into a a model of by the job.
Yeah. And I'm going to dig into, I want everybody to know how you're getting your clients today, because I think it's really important, but not yet. Back at that point, how and where were you getting most of your clients? When you started growing and you were doing more than just, people that knew people that you knew?
That's a good question. I think it...
Or was it the same? I mean, maybe it was just more of word of mouth. I don't know.
It was a lot of word of mouth. It was just additional Facebook posts. When I got the LLC, I think within just a couple days, I put it on Google Business. So fresh, no reviews or anything like that. I started using the app Handy. So in between that stage of before I got the LLC, I was using that app and just picking up things here and there. It felt fair. Definitely is compared to what I can make now. Underpaying, but it was fair. Yeah, not bad for a time filler. I used it a little bit. Yeah.
Let's talk about we'll skip forward quickly and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and talk about how you get work today. I think it's important to know because a lot of people are dumping a lot of money into SEO. They're doing Facebook ads, they're doing Google ads, they're paying Nextdoor, Angie's List, Thumbtack. Everybody's spending so much money right now trying to find work. And you're doing the one thing that I feel like any good handyman should be able to do. So tell them what it is that you're doing, your main way of getting work without having to pay an arm and a leg for it.
It's very, very simple. It is just the Google business and establishing and getting good reviews.
Yeah.
That's it.
And how do you get the reviews? How do you coax your people to actually take a few minutes to leave a review for you?
Well, I think, and this has been said in your, other recent interviews, taking care of the customer is, I think, the number one thing. It's it should be considered like a pillar of your business. It should be the number one thing, because if you take care of the customer will take care of you. And really just being honest and open and, not trying to try to get more work out of them when it's not really necessary. Truly being almost like a neighborhood, a person that lives in their neighborhood that is just coming over to help them fix a problem and fix it in the most efficient way. It's a respect. I respect you. I respect your home. I respect your time. I respect your money. And that's it. Just take care of them. Yeah. And then at the end, after we've talked about payment and everything's clear and everybody's happy, usually I say something like this: hey, if you appreciate my work and you want to help other people find somebody that's honest and hardworking and is going to show up when they say they will, if you leave a review, that's going to help them find me. Yeah. And so I feel like saying that to them, it gives them almost like a way to give back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, without necessarily asking them for it. You're just letting them know that if this was good and you want to promote more good, here's how you. And it's kind of like if the question was, how can I make my client feel like I took really good care of them? The answer to the question, how can I make my client feel that way, is to take really good care of them. There's no magic answer. There's no trick. Here's how you trick your client into feeling like you took care of them. Just take care of them.
Exactly.
Actually go in there, like you said. Don't try to upsell them. I mean, yes, upsell on if you see something broke.
Yeah.
If you see that they have a leak under the kitchen sink, offer to fix it. Yeah. And yes, charge for it. But don't go in with the intent of haha, I'm going to get in here for your leaky sink, but I'm going to trick you into getting a whole new kitchen.
Exactly.
Don't just take care of them.
Yeah.
See what their needs are. See what their budget is, and give them what's going to be best for them.
Yeah, and it's always that balance. Definitely don't do hack work, right? You want to fix the problem and you want to think and do work in the way that you're going to fix the problem long term. You're not just patching it up so that the check clears and then like that. That's not going to work. I think another thing I do with the Google and getting reviews is I try to make it as easy as possible for them. So I usually will have their number, and when I'm out in my van, I'm getting ready to leave, I do it immediately. I go and I get a link from my page, and I text it to them, and I send them a little message. Here's the link for the review. No pressure to write anything. If you just give me a star review, that helps just as much. So I want to try to give them as little pressure as possible, but make it as easy as possible. And almost every time that I send that link, I get a review.
Yeah, right on. I've heard people talk about, and this isn't something I've done because you already know, property manager, so I'm not really looking. I probably should. To be smart, I should probably just be getting them anyways, but do you ever say something to the effect of, well, you sort of request the review, but do you ever follow up also in that same statement saying something like, and if you don't feel my service was 5 stars, let me know what I can do to make it 5 stars before you leave the review?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let them know because, again, it's just adding to that.
How many times do they want something more? Like how often do they say, oh, no, you were great, compared to, yeah, you were 4 stars, and I'm going to need a neck massage?
No. It's always, over the moon. And, all 5-star reviews. So far, I know there'll be a day where that will...
Oh, you're all 5 stars.
Yeah.
So the first 4 is going to hurt.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Because that's the difference between all 5 stars and not all 5 stars.
Exactly.
I'm going to give you a 4-star review today. That's cool.
Well, what can I do to change your mind?
I need a neck massage.
All right.
Cool. So how many do you have? Do you know? How many 5-star ballpark?
I
feel like you told me 80 or something the other day.
That was the goal for this year.
Okay.
I got 40 in the first year, and I'm thinking, oh well, if I got 40 in the first year, I could probably get double that. We're around. I think we just hit 60.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah, and the point of this whole thing being, you're not spending money on SEO optimization. You're not paying for any leads. You're not paying Google money to rank you up at the top.
Nope, I have never
You're just
paid.
doing a good job as a handyman.
Yep.
And making sure that everybody knows that if they care to help you, they can do so by leaving a good review. And that saves you it seems like most guys, if they're spending money on ads, it's anywhere from $200 to $500 a month.
Yep.
So that's saving $300-400 a month for you.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what was the next step then? After you got your LLC, your business license, your insurance, probably starting to charge a little more than $50 an hour. Tell me what your business looks like right at this point. How busy are you? Who are you working for? What are your plans?
Well, I think that was, again, in a shift of going, okay, well, so far, Ray's information has gotten me this far, and he's pushing property managers. So I took it upon myself to put together the best packet
I remember
that
you posted them on the Facebook page.
I did.
They were beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of people commented and liked them, and wanted information and to know what was in there. And I'm like, well, you just watch
send them a link.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to do that. Just send them a link to the video that I followed.
Yeah.
But it didn't have anything extra in it, really. I think I had one thing in there that you didn't mention, which was just a section of the reviews on Google. Cool. It was just one page. It wasn't all of them.
Probably if you have them, that's a great thing to put in there. Yeah. That's something I haven't thought of.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and in the image it showed that I had 5 stars and how many I had, and then it had some of those actual written out comments. So I was like, well, it doesn't hurt,
Cool.
And then, I just made those packets and just made a list of property managers in my area and just drove and showed up, didn't call, just walked in there and was like, I would like to hand this to the person that's responsible for vendors.
Yeah.
And that landed me a couple property managers.
Yeah, same day, right? At least one same day, I thought you said?
For sure.
That's cool.
My area is a little strange. Here in Tucson, it's not this way, but where I'm at, there's two major property managers. They basically have like 90% of all. Like they have everything.
Yeah.
And one of these big property managers, they already have in-house maintenance. They have vans with their name, their business name, and everything, and they have a maintenance crew. I have still done some work for them, but they're not really reaching out to me. It's if I happen to meet somebody who has a property through them, then I can bill them. And they already have my information, so that goes real smooth.
Yeah.
But they are not really reaching out saying, hey, we have work. The other big company, they just don't seem to want to work with me. I don't know if they just have good people right now. I'm not really sure, but really haven't heard hardly anything. And I've reached out to them like 4 or 5 times because I'm not trying to give up. Because I really would like to get in and, start doing work.
And persistence matters.
Yeah.
It always has for me.
Yeah.
In everything I have ever done, I've always just been the guy that's like, hey, not trying to annoy you, but it's been a few months and I thought I'd check back in again and see if you need me yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Things shift, things change. So I did try, but then I was like, okay, I'm still not going to let that stop me. And I was like, well, there's still more. So I just went to these different property managers, companies. Some were definitely on what I would say the lower end. And I think simply just my pricing at that point was just like that was why they weren't interested. Yeah. And then I found.
And what was the price point you were offering them?
It was basically
the 125.
Yeah. Again, trying really hard not to say that specifically because that scares people away. Because I don't think they're able to.
But you had grown to that point at this time.
Yeah, I felt I did. Having a legit business. I think I had, at least 30, around 25 5-star reviews, I think, at that point. Which, if you looked up the list of companies, handyman companies in my area, I was right there. That's basically everybody else had around that number. So I was right in there with them. Yeah. There wasn't somebody way up high that was like an obvious choice over me. Yeah. And then I just found a couple that were in this mid-range. They weren't really big. They weren't like small. And I kind of could tell by the office walking in to see like things are not really up to date, right? Yeah. Like things were looking like they're still from the 1980s, Yeah. I'm like, I probably aren't worried too much about maintenance. Yeah. And I'm trying to be this premium. Yeah. So, but I always gave them a shot too. I'm like, hey, who knows?
You never know.
Never know. But I did find one person. I think it was just a great timing. It just happened to be great timing. And she's like my main property manager that I work with. And it just works. Yeah. It's so smooth.
You know how many doors she has?
I do. She has about 200.
Okay, that's a good amount of doors.
For one person. Yeah.
I've said before, do you tell me if you agree, I don't know, or if you even have an opinion. If I had to answer this question, and I don't have to, but if I had to answer the question, give me a number, how many doors would keep one handyman busy 40 hours a week, including his admin time? Which I think is very little time for a handyman to work. But even if the 40 hours a week included all your admin time, cleaning out your van, shopping, and working on the job, I feel like 400 doors is the number. 400, one property manager, if you're her only handyman and she has 400 doors, you're not going to make 6 figures off that one property manager.
Yeah.
But you'll be busy where like half your time is spent on the job and the other half your time is spent shopping, cleaning out your van, running the business.
That was exactly the number I was thinking, because she has 200. I do get a lot of work, but I could definitely take on more.
Yeah. You could take care of 3 of her if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. And that's understand that would be also you're very efficient, or at least mildly efficient, organized.
You're not wasting all
You're not wasting time. Exactly. If you're starting out, that 200 might feel like, okay, this is, a good starting place. Yeah. But for somebody that has does this every day and has, really focused, 400 is probably would feel really nice.
Yeah. And I forgot what you were talking about. I interrupted you.
No,
Do you
you're
remember?
good. We were just talking about that mid.
Yeah,
place,
you were saying that you found you went after some of the mid-tier ones.
Yeah, my next step was the packets and handing them out to try to get in with property managers.
And what was that experience like? Actually showing up, because you did it cold, right?
Yeah.
You didn't set up appointments.
No.
What was that like, showing up and just introducing yourself and hoping to get in front of somebody who makes the decisions?
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. It was not the most comfortable thing. Even with, I have like sales background, so I'm pretty used to talking to people. But it was a little uncomfortable because I felt a little bit of pressure. Like, I need to nail this. Because I felt like a lot is riding on it, but I just went in and just the packet helped a lot, right? Because the packet has so much information in it that all I really had to do was just answer their questions honestly, and just sit down and, like you say, they're just a human. They're just another person.
Just another person.
And it's okay. It's okay if you walk out of there, you shake their hand, and they're like, I'm sorry, this is just not, we just don't need you at this time. You don't let that discourage you. You go, this is just one road for a handyman. It's not...
one of many.
One of many.
One of 1,000 little niches.
Yeah.
That you can play around
Exactly.
in. It's just a nice, reliable niche. Like, if you want a lot of work and you want it fast, if you get lucky and you land on the right property manager who needs you, they'll fill you up with some work real quick.
Yeah, in ranking all of these roads, we talk about property managers, commercial property managers, homeowners, realtors. The property manager road is definitely top tier. It's the number one. It's the easiest, most reliable, to just really crank out work. And then you're just dealing with one person, so it feels nice to be able to build a relationship there, and it becomes easier because you can almost predict what they need, and then that just makes you even more valuable.
And you know what calls they would make.
Yes.
You can look at a situation that a lot of handymen, if it's a client they don't know, they're going to want to make like 3 different phone calls for 3 different questions on one little punch list because they don't know. But when you work with the same one enough, you eventually get to the point. I've got some that if I've got 5 vanity bulbs in the bathroom and 2 of them are out, I have some that will be upset if I just put 2 new bulbs in, because those 2 new bulbs aren't going to match perfectly the color of the other bulbs. And I've got some that will be upset. I've got some that'll be upset if I don't replace them all, and I've got some that'll be upset if I do replace them all.
And
you get to know
right?
each one.
Yeah.
But that's the point, is you know exactly what they want, and you take all the maintenance off their plate.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said you're doing a little work for commercial property managers now?
Yeah, I've
not a lot, but some.
Some. They would definitely be on the bottom of that list of different avenues that you can get work from, because there are a lot, and just be honest, they're not all of them are really great. They're the hardest to work with, because they're going to be the ones that are going to most likely not have a problem telling you to your face, this is how much, I hear your pricing, but we would like you to do it for this much.
This is how much that
this
we
is
can pay.
what we want you, we want to pay you.
Now, are these generally like the foreign ones? Because I get a lot of calls from foreign ones.
Yeah.
I don't always know the accent. It could be Indian. I don't want to pretend like I know. Maybe it's Pakistani or some other part of that region of the world. But I get a lot of calls from them. I always have, because I did a lot of work for them in the beginning. I have to say I enjoyed working for them most of the time, at least one of them. A lot of the others, tell me if this is your experience, and I know you said they'll tell you what they want to pay, but I found no matter what, they always want to negotiate. Every time.
Every time.
Even if I give them I could like write out a whole paragraph and read it to them.
Doesn't matter.
And it's a paragraph that just says in 18 different ways, this is my price. Do not ask me to lower it. I'm already too busy to work with you. I'm not going to give you a discount. This is my price. This is my price.
Yep.
And then as soon as we're all said and done and we have the price set, they say, let me call my supervisor. And then they call back and they say, hey, man, we need you to do it for $10 less. It's not even a lot less, but they need for you to throw in, they need to feel like they got some kind of deal at the end.
Yeah.
Which is just annoying.
It is.
I want them to send me a job. I do the job and I send them an invoice.
Yeah, so they're basically, that group is the most difficult. Now, that doesn't mean that every one of them is. There's just a lot. Yeah. I would say you probably get one good one out of 10. Yeah. 1 out of 10 is probably what you're going to get. So if they are reaching out, and you need work, you can, if you feel comfortable with it, going through that and you kind of vetting them out.
You just have to know going in.
You just have to know going in. And also, you're going to have to do a lot more steps with them to complete the job, because they're going to need more things to be able to process that job. And I can tell you what those things are because I've done it a bunch of times.
Yeah. Tell me, is one of them writing a thing and then signing it and having the manager of the store sign it and taking it a picture?
Exactly.
Yeah, I've done those too.
So the process usually is...
you can't tell them your business name.
Nope.
You have to say their business name.
You have to say their business name. So the process is they're okay with you charging a trip fee. Usually you're going to have to, because they don't have hardly any information. They don't have pictures usually. They have a location, and that's it. They don't have the manager's name. They have nothing. Yeah. So you're usually going to have to go there, and you don't even know if you can even do the work. You won't know, can I do this? What's actually wrong? Do I have the right stuff? You don't know. So you're going to have to charge a trip fee. They're usually okay. They are going to usually try to talk you down to some other amount. Yeah. And, that's kind of up to you. Maybe you look at it and go, okay, it's not that far away. It's 10 minutes away. It's not that far, or I'm kind of in that area. Sure, I can stop by. Another thing is they need it done immediately. When they call you, the best answer that you can give them is, I'm in my truck right now driving over to this location.
Yeah. Oh, keep going. I'm just checking out the camera.
So they're going to want you to show up ASAP. Usually, again, if you can show up that day, that's good enough. Within before the business closed. But they need you to go there, and when you get there, you got to call them up. Whoever reached out, hey, I'm checking in with you.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
I'm checking in, and I'm here at the location, and it's usually just okay. Thanks for letting me know. Click. It's literally that quick, and then you go in, you ask for the manager, and then you go see what's going on. They're going to want a couple before and after pictures. That's always a thing that they're going to need. And then they're going to need a sign-off sheet from the manager letting them know that, like, hey, the work has been done and it's satisfactory. And then, you have to send all of that off. And then you have to also check out. So you got to call them back when you get out to your vehicle and, let them know. And then payment's actually usually pretty quick. I would say average is within the week.
Yeah.
So
it was same day for me with
same
the
day
ones
sometimes.
that I worked for.
Same day sometimes.
It was usually same day or next day most of the time for me.
But there's all
and like you
these
said,
extra
it wasn't
steps.
great money.
No.
But it was nice though. Building a business, especially, it was nice to just have some decent stuff to fill in some of the blanks and stay busy and keep revenue moving through the account without losing any money either.
Exactly.
And gaining some experience.
Yeah.
So what about realtors?
Realtors.
I feel like, I'll tell you what I think and then you tell me what you think. I like realtors for sellers. I like sellers agents because the seller usually needs things fixed so they can sell. As opposed to buyer's agents, a lot of times the buyers are just looking for a number so that they can ask for a discount, as opposed to actually intending on following through. But that's only my experience. What's been yours?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not just buyers and sellers, but
Yeah.
just working for realtors all around. What have you experienced?
Well, I mean, I agree with you with when it comes to the buyer seller. There is definitely a different experience that's happening there. We'll talk about the buyer experience. It's really, you just have to stick to your guns and go, I will absolutely come over, and because it's usually they just want you to come and look at something and give them an idea. I have no problem with that. I'm going to charge you to do that, which is going to be a trip fee, and usually it's $100 for me to have to walk around and spend my hour coming up with a list and giving you a price and then going home and writing up a quote. That's what it is.
Very fair.
It's $180. And actually, I don't mind that, because if they say yes and they never hire me to do the work, I'm still getting paid for it. And all I had to do was walk around, take some pictures and a couple notes, and then, do a little bit of admin work. So I'm fine with that. But when it comes to actually doing work, it's going to be the seller almost always.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually going to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And they're going to pull the trigger fast, I find.
Oh, for sure.
And they're going to be really grateful.
Yep.
Because they can't find anybody else
Yep.
right now, at least within your price range, even if you're charging good money.
Yep.
It's hard to get reliable people quickly, and they're trying to sell a house that they probably bought for $120,000 10 years ago.
Yep.
And they're selling it for $380 today. If they need to pay you $1,000 to make that happen, they're very grateful.
Yeah. So realtors is somewhere in the middle. There could be great realtors. I mean, right up to the top with where I would say property managers are. I have a couple realtors in my area. They are like some of the top realtors. Like they got like hundreds of 5-star reviews. Mm-hmm. And we actually had meetings together. We went and sat down before any work was done, because there's like, we need to understand each other. Yeah. But every time it's easy. And they do not call me unless there's basically money on the table for me. If I'm going there or they're calling me, I'm basically just guaranteed, like, I'm going to be doing the work.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, again, you don't want to rip people off. But you do have to keep in mind that they're in the middle, because in between the commercial property managers and just regular property managers, because they're going to also need the work done relatively quickly. Because if they're reaching out, they have some kind of window where they need things done. And they're also working probably with an HVAC guy, a roofing guy, a plumber, electrician, and you're just one of the guys, one of the pieces in the puzzle, and they need to orchestrate all that within a time frame. But if you can do that and it fits in, and you can deliver, and I think that is the key is you must be able to meet that deadline, because if you don't, it's a big deal.
They can't close sometimes.
Exactly.
They have a closing date set, and they have an agreement in place that says, this is when we're going to close. And when we close, the house will be in this condition.
Yep.
And if you don't follow through, they literally have to reschedule, and they will reschedule the entire closing date. So these people won't be buying their house the day they thought they were going to. Everybody's going to have to move their schedule around again because Mike didn't show up and do what he said he was going to do.
Yes.
But if you do that, and you do that reliably over and over, while other guys are dropping the ball, guess who they call every time, and guess who they're okay paying a premium to.
Yes.
Not just okay, happy grateful to pay a premium to say thank you for making my job easy.
Exactly.
That's cool.
It's one of those situations where you need to, if you've never worked with a realtor, you don't understand that, you need to know, like, you really truly need to do every single thing that you can to make sure that everything is done and completed that you were given or you accepted by the time that you said it. I don't care if you have to be there until 12 o'clock midnight on the final day to make sure that everything got done.
If you need to hire and subcontract
whatever
some stuff
you got to do.
If you need to lose money, lose a little bit of money.
It will pay off.
Because if you make them reschedule a closing date,
you're done.
They're not going to be calling you back.
Never. You won't hear back from them. You basically you're done. You're never going to hear back from them again.
Exactly.
It's too much of a hassle. that you've caused too much of it. They'll still pay you.
Yeah.
And they'll still smile, but you're never going to hear back from them again.
Have you worked for any contractors, like new home builders? I've heard varying things, mostly negative, but I don't have the experience. Have you messed with any of them?
One. I've done it once, and I don't know if I'll do it again.
Tell me about it. Tell me all about it, because I don't have that experience.
So obviously, I don't know. I'm just showing up to this house, and you know, obviously it's a new build. Nobody's lived there before, and there is an addendum. It's the same with realtors, exact same thing. Some of the inspectors come in and taken pictures and made a nice, easy list that, you know, spells out everything that they need to fix. And I don't know what happened, but this place was just problems everywhere. So imagine walking into basically a house that's ready to be sold, right? But everywhere you look are problems. Something happened. Skilled workers were not as skilled, or just, I don't know.
I think half of our new homes right now are being built by people on drugs.
Could have been.
Like half the tradesmen in the new builds seem to be either on something, or they were on something 3 months ago and they're still recovering or something. But it's some sketchy people doing new builds these days.
Yeah. I mean, every exterior door was... So the wall, right, like a normal wall, you know, you have just a couple inches, right, you know, between the door where it closes, you have about, you
got 2 to 3
2
inches
inches,
there,
right? Yeah. These walls were like probably almost a foot, and the door was all the way to the exterior. So you had this giant like casing, and they couldn't close and open in that space because everything was out of whack. Nothing was square in that. And they wanted me, they were wanting me, that was a big part of why they wanted me to come over and fix stuff. There was a list of at least 50, 60 things, but that was one of the big ones. And I was just like, when I saw this, I was like, no, this is going to require me to like completely rip everything down and do drywall. I'm more of like a small to medium size.
You're the in and out guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, can't do that, but I'm happy to take care of everything else. And they had so much that they were just like, what were they going to say? No.
Just tell us what you will do.
Yeah. So there was a bathroom upstairs, big tile bathroom, giant tile shower. Most of the grout just like was missing in spots, so I basically had to go and re-grout different places, and there was a separate toilet closet almost. I don't know what you would call that.
That's what I call them, those toilet closets.
I
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it didn't have a door.
It's just for, no door. I was going to say they're just for privacy, so you can have a door when your spouse is like using, but I guess if you don't have a door, there's no privacy.
And they wanted a door. So I, went and got a door, handle, everything. All I had to do was router out, measure, make sure everything was good, plumb, square. Go to close it, and the whole, there's gaps because the whole frame is tilted. And you know what? I had to leave it because I'm like, you wanted me to put a door on. I can't help that the framing is out. I can't do anything about that. That's not what you asked me to do. So I just did that.
Yeah, unless you want to pay extra for me to scribe the whole door to the messed up frame.
I don't know. Maybe I should have, but I had already, done so much work that it was like,
you got a door, man.
You guys know, this place is really not, it's a fun house essentially. So what do you want me to do? I mean, there were whole rooms where there was just no electricity.
Yeah.
Some rooms had electricity, some rooms didn't. There was there's a bathtub with just drywall and debris and screws just inside the pipe. That was one of the things that they needed me to fix. So just a laundry list. And saying all of that, then they also took forever to pay me. And that was really where I'm saying probably never again. And it
and
could have
define
just been,
forever, because you work for property managers
Yeah.
and they're net 30.
Yeah.
So how long is forever?
Like, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 months.
That's crazy.
And-
And was there an agreement? Did they say net 30 in the first place, or net 15 or next day?
I said net 30.
So you told them
Yes.
that you were net 30.
Yeah.
They understood what that meant.
They understood.
But they didn't pay you for 3 or 4 months.
No.
Did
And
you
it-
have to chase the money down, or
Kind of.
did they just take forever?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Like, do you think they'd have paid you if you hadn't been chasing them? Are they just slow, or were they hoping to not pay you?
that's really hard to say. Like, would they have just never paid me? I don't think so, but they would probably been like, well...
But they clearly didn't care that you
No, because
invested yourself.
Because they had other homes they were building.
Yeah.
That's why they couldn't, they needed to bring me
They
in.
needed
because
you because they were busy
didn't-
building homes.
Yeah, they didn't have anybody else to fix all this stuff. So they probably would have just taken the money that they could have paid me and bought materials or what and pushed it into other things. So no, I had to stay on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I can switch gears like completely right now, because I think we've got your story. And by the way, to everyone watching, there's an old interview with Mike on the channel already, and he tells you it's like 2 to 3 hours of his whole background. Like, if you want to know who he is and how he came to the point where he was then sort of picking up today's story, that's all there, as well as a lot of other good handyman information. So y'all can go watch that. But what I want to know right now, because you've started your business, you've gotten a little ways in, and you've learned a lot. You're right now in year 2, where I was in like year 3 or 4. You've gotten there quickly. And I want to dig into a lot of like what you've learned and what you've experienced. So I'm going to start out with just a basic question, but I want you to feel free to take it wherever you want to take it. And that's going to be tooling, because I say quite frequently when people ask me what tools they should have, my answer, this doesn't need to be yours, but my answer is the best tool is the tool you have. And you don't have to wait until you can get all the Milwaukee M12 special whatever. You don't need a job site portable table saw. You can work with what you have. So what's your opinion? What do you want everybody to know on tooling, and also just in general, just like when they're starting up their business?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. You don't need, a full pack out of, brand new tools. Again, I would say exactly what you've said a bunch of times. Go to a garage sale. Usually you can find a toolbox with some random stuff, or you can go to Harbor Freight and pick up some like cheaper stuff, just as long as you have, it's more about having the right tool, right? A flathead screwdriver that's the right size, or a Phillips that's the right size. As long as it works, it will get you through. And then taking that and going, okay, I don't like this particular tool for whatever this particular reason, and then you invest some of that money back into going, okay, I'm going to replace this tool with this one because it didn't have the thing or the feature, or it's more comfortable or whatever, and you just slowly acquire. And I think it's actually helpful, very helpful, to have quote unquote bad tools.
Oh yeah.
Because then you know what it is about a good tool that makes it a good tool.
That makes it a good tool.
Yeah.
That's true.
And everybody's going to be a little different. The things that they're dealing with may be different. Maybe your hands aren't as good, and you need something that's more comfortable rather than a long battery life. The comfortability, the ergonomics of the tool matter a lot, more than how much noise it makes or something like that.
For some tools.
Yeah, for some
And then
tools.
for other tools, depending on what you're doing, some other feature is going to be more important than some other feature.
Yep.
So then I guess you're saying that it's going to take time to even learn and understand what tools they need.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I would say spending less money if you can to learn that is probably the smart thing to do, instead of going out and buying, this brand new Milwaukee Impact. But hey, if you feel like that tool is you're really going to get a lot of run time in it, yeah, probably spend a few extra dollars so that you're what they say, you cry once, right? Yeah. You're going to spend the big chunk of money on it, but it's going to be worth it, and you're not going to have to replace it. So it's kind of one of these things where you're just going to have to kind of weigh your options and figure out where you are and where your budget is, and obviously what kind of work you're doing, right? If you're doing more drywall, then probably investing in better tools or more tools around drywall is smart. It's just kind of basic stuff, I think.
Yeah. So what's your, I don't want you to try to tell like a whole list of every tool you need, but what's your basic setup? How do you look at your organizational system for not just acquiring, but like storing and transporting and keeping all your tools sort of organized and available?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I have a van, very, very lucky, feel extremely grateful and blessed that I was able to get such a nice van this early on. And so, but you don't need one. I worked out of a truck, same as you, with the totes and just having, stuff in them. And that can work. That system can work. It can get you through, I think first, though, is the EDC bag, the essential tools. I'm just going to throw out a number. I think probably 75% of my jobs get done with just what's in that bag.
For what it's worth, I'd agree. A general EDC bag, I think, for me, I felt like could get me, I would have said 80% of almost anything I did. This is assuming that I've got my drill like on my hip when I go in, and I've got my tape measure on my hip, and then the EDC bag, I feel like it's probably about the same number, I'd say.
And I think that, again, unfortunately, there's no good answer. I mean, you have, again, a video showing what's in yours, and that's a great place to start if you just don't know what to put in it. But it's one of these things of it's a work in progress. It's always a work in progress. It always
is, yeah. Mine is still. Yeah. I'm always taking a thing out because I haven't needed it much. Yep. Maybe I add it back in 3 months later because I realize I do use it enough. Yep. And then I get something new and I test it out and I end up liking it. So it's always flexing and fluxing and stuff.
It's always evolving.
Other than like screwdrivers and pliers and the basics, is there anything in particular that you keep in your bag that you think people should know about? Again, other than like, screwdrivers and pliers and whatnot.
That's a really good question because I've spent a lot of time really refining it. So
or what you don't keep in your bag is an equally important question.
Yeah. Some of the things I'm grabbing. Okay, so one thing I think that if you do this type of work, a volt tester. I use that thing all the time, and an outlet tester. Yep.
Both of those are always in my bag.
Can get so much electrical stuff done. You almost don't even need anything else for electrical work other than wire cutters. Yeah. And I have gotten the ones that have the needle-nosed wire cutters, and
yeah, those are nice. Is yours the what's the brand? Brain farting on. There's a brand, not Klein. Klein's a good one.
Knitbacks? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm not thinking of them either. No. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah, I'm interrupting you, trying to remember a brand name that doesn't matter.
You're fine. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have remembered the brand. I think they have red handles. They might be Milwaukee.
It's red, and they're from. I don't think they are. I think they're red. Are they from Home Depot?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a red brand at Home Depot, and I can't remember.
I can't remember it either, but yeah, it's probably the exact.
Y'all are
ones.
welcome. I'm sorry for wasting 2 minutes of your life.
But yeah, those three things can basically do almost, unless I'm brain farting, that's basically electrical right there.
Do you keep your screen spline tool in that bag?
No, I don't.
Do you do screens?
Yes.
I hate them.
I don't really like them.
I hate them.
But I basically have a little shelf that has my spline, I have screen patches, and I have the tool. And then I keep screens in another spot. But I have all of that together. That's something I don't keep in the bag.
Cold chisel?
Yeah, I have 2 cold chisels. I have 3 wood chisels, small, medium, large. Probably could take the large one out. I have a nice pack of, they're like whole bits.
Whole saws?
Yeah.
Okay,
well, not
cool.
saws. Spades. I think they're called.
Oh,
spades.
right on.
Spade bits.
I don't. Yeah, paddle. I call them paddle bits. I don't know if that's what they're called.
Yeah, I think
that's what I call them from when I was a kid.
But it has it rolls out. It has Velcro. It has all the sides. It rolls up nice and tight, and it just can go right there. So again, probably only need like 2 or 3, but they fit in there. Just random stuff. I keep a tool in there for undoing the garbage disposals. Yeah. I even have one that I've modified and cut the angles off, so it's just a straight one, so I can stick it in my drill if I need to, and pop it up in there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so if for some reason, I need a little bit more.
You need a lot of torque. That's cool. You know what? I've abused some garbage disposals where I thought I was going to have to replace them, and then just figured out the last minute, like, well, let me try to destroy this thing
Exactly.
first.
I think it had come to that point of like, look, either way, this is either going to break or I'm going to break it free and we're going to be fine. So I just cut it off and tried it, and it actually worked, and there wasn't leaks or nothing. So I just have it in there for just in case. But what am I grabbing the most? I'm grabbing Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and then I have the 2 same thing, Phillips and flathead, but the tiny ones. I use those all the time. That little one I'll use as like a prying stuff or just removing something,
or even digging like paint out of screw heads and stuff.
It's great.
Do you keep a T10 in there, a Torx 10, the little one for I keep it in for exhaust fans. And you're in a different part of the country, so a lot of times y'all might have just different equipment. But down here, all my exhaust fans use a T10 for the screws to come in and out.
Yeah, I have essentially in the front of my bag, I have 2 small boxes that have screws in them. So in one box, I have just drywall screws because I use them all the time, and I have metal tapping screws. And then I have a couple of wire nuts that are just in there that are basically just to put on a wire to do some electrical, and they usually comes off, and it's just there in case I need it. The other box is bits like that to T10, a couple different sizes of that hex, and then I have bits in there to do not set screws, countersinking, and then I have in that box is my like 3.5-inch deck screws, which I just kind of end up using them for all kinds of things. Yeah, so it's like small screws, large screws, metal tapping screws, and again, a lot of what I would use a screw for, it's those 3 types.
That's cool. So you got the EDC.
Yep.
Is there anything else that's systematized like an EDC?
Yeah, so moving on would be the van and how I have it organized. You have your kits, which I haven't done. Great idea. I don't think I really need it. My van is organized in basically shelves. A shelf is an electric shelf, which is then divided into 2 groups, parts and tools. And those tools are like everything I wouldn't normally need to take in. So if I need something for electrical and it's a tool, I can just grab this bin, take it off, and it's in there.
Yeah.
It's not well organized in there, but I know that it's in there, and whenever I go back to the van, it goes back into that tote.
Well, and what's important to remember is you're not building what you're building for the purpose of putting somebody else in there to use it. So you're doing what I did when I was doing it, which was I took everything with me all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't bring my large compressor. Like there was a couple big items that stayed at home that I knew when I would carry. But otherwise, all of my tools were just, I didn't have the kits that I'm building now. Those are for employees. So you've got everything set up where you know where your stuff is, and your method is to have a shelf.
Yep.
And then half the shelf is for tools and half for materials.
Pretty much, yeah. Cool. And in each category. So there's a electrical one, there's a plumbing one, there's a paint one, there's a whole shelf for drywall, and then I have a whole bin for just safety gear. I keep a tool belt. I don't really use a tool belt, but sometimes when I'm going up a ladder, I'm like, I need some hands, so I put on that tool belt just to have that extra safety.
Yeah.
I have they're all kinds of names for them, but like basically rain boots if I have to go into a place that has water, not trying to get my shoes gross.
Oh, you told me you keep spare clothes with you.
Yes.
Tell us about that. I used to keep a spare shirt, but I like what you do better.
Yeah, so that was like I've been here for a day and we've been talking a lot, and that was one of the things I brought up that I wanted to mention. And like for any of these new guys out here that's like, just wanting tips and tricks and things that maybe they wouldn't think about. So I have a bag that stays in my van, and it has basically a whole set of clothes and shoes that just stays in there in case the worst case scenario happens. Now I'm talking socks, an extra pair of socks, extra pair of underwear, a shirt, extra pair of pants. And another thing that I didn't even mention is I keep in a Ziploc bag a roll of toilet paper.
I did learn that lesson. I did start keeping toilet paper with me.
That's one thing I think that a lot of people would not think about until they're in that situation.
Until the day that you wish you had that toilet paper.
Yes, I'm telling you, if you do not have that in your vehicle, do that today.
There you go.
Because there will be a situation where you'll be like, whew, glad
do you put a
took that.
towel in the bag? I feel like if I was going to go as far as you, which I never did, I always had a shirt, but I feel like if I was going to go all out, I'd probably put a towel in there just in case, like if it was a vacant property, maybe if I needed to, I could even rinse off in the shower.
Yeah, I have a couple extra towels. I don't have like a clean towel, but I have spare towels just for wiping some stuff down. Usually not to get dirty or anything, just water if I'm doing under a sink. If I can't get a bucket up under there, just something to catch water in.
Cool.
Or water on and that kind of thing.
Well, I like that idea. I think it's good advice. If I could go back, I didn't end up needing a full change of clothes ever. But had I needed it, it would have been better to have had it. And it was only luck that I didn't need it. And there was a few times, though, where I had to lay down in, like, cabinets next to toilets that had a leak, that the cabinet itself was soaked, and I had to lay inside the cabinet with my back burning from, like, the piss that soaked into the cabinet that's now wet, soaking through my shirt and onto my back. It's not fun.
Yeah, and it could just be as simple as you got caught in the rain and you just want some dry clothes, to drive home in, or like a million reasons why you would
maybe you had to go in an attic and you're just covered in fiberglass.
Exactly, that was going to be my next example. Yeah,
right on.
You just want to get out of those itchy clothes. But as far as like tools and organization, it's pretty much just it's an ongoing process, like I said before, of like taking stuff out of the van that I don't really need. I think there's one thing that's been floating around in there that I'm definitely going to be taking out. I have like a really nice, I think it's Wagner steam machine. I use it for a wallpaper job, a big wallpaper job. I don't need that in there every day.
And you're gonna know in advance if it's a wallpaper job, somebody is going to have said wallpaper, and you know to bring it that day.
Again, could I possibly run into a situation where I need this steam, thing? Maybe, but I'm pretty sure I could probably work out some other solution, maybe with a heat gun or something, work it out. But right, I'm gonna know that there's this wallpaper job, I'm gonna need my steamer, grab it.
Do you have a preference on brands, like cordless tool brands?
I don't have a preference, I'm gonna say, because I haven't tried a lot. I think if I had all the money to just go, okay, I'm going to replace every single battery-powered tool with a specific brand, I think I probably would go with Probably Milwaukee is probably what I would go with.
And is it the fuel? Is it M12 fuel? That's the smaller, lighter weight one?
Yeah.
That maybe you need more batteries for, but if you have all the money in the world, that would still be,
And that's
I kind of agree, and I don't know their stuff very well. I haven't used a lot of Milwaukee. I do know that they can tend to shut off in the heat, which I don't like because I'm in Arizona.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't in Arizona, even more so. But even then, I mean, even still, maybe I just have one backup DeWalt drill in case my Milwaukee is picky about the heat.
Yeah, or
but
if
those
you're working
M12s
outside.
seem nice.
Yeah.
But you don't personally have a huge preference then.
No,
what are you using mostly right now?
I use Ryobi because the main reason I'm using that is because I already had several batteries. I don't know, like 4 or 5 of them, and a couple tools. I had a Sawzall. I had just some regular house tools, and so that's what I had, and so that's what I was using, and it just only made sense to keep going.
No, and I've heard good, like, I don't know that brand very well, but I've heard from a lot of people, it has a reputation for being cheap.
Yeah.
But I've heard from a lot of guys on this channel have told me that's what they're using, that's what they've been using for years. They're doing a lot of heavy-duty work with it, day in and day out, and it seems to be performing. I don't know if it's lightweight or heavy. I don't know if ergonomically, if it's all that comfortable, because I don't have a lot of experience. But one thing I do have with this channel that I'm lucky of is everybody tells me lots of it's like I have access to information about what people are doing. And a lot of people are just using the shit out of Ryobi, and they're happy with it. So I'm not going to knock it at all. And again, if it's the best tool is the one you have.
Yep.
If your tools are working, man, why would you go throw them away and buy more tools?
Yeah, exactly.
If what you have is not only working, but working well. It's not like I've never had you call me and say, hey, I had to hack this job, or this 8-hour job took 10 hours because my damn drill didn't work good enough. So yeah, if it's working, it's working.
Yeah, if I was like on a construction site, like building a house, or even heck, building like a whole deck, probably would not be using Ryobi. Probably absolutely.
I would use it, and I would paint it pink.
There you go, because nobody else would take your tool.
And I would get a little jeweler's hammer, and I'd put it on my tool belt.
But I'd probably be with DeWalt or something like that. But I have never had a tool break yet. And I could be very lucky.
No, I hear the same thing.
Yep.
From the people using the Ryobi. The tools are working, they're lasting, they're getting the job done. Does Milwaukee have like things that make it more pleasant to use? I'm sure.
Yeah.
But if you don't need that, then there's no point in it, really. Unless, like you said, if money's no option.
Yeah.
If it just doesn't matter, you got all the money in the world, you can just go into Home Depot and it's a $10,000 tool shopping spree.
Right.
Sure, I'm going to get a lot of Milwaukee.
Yeah,
it's nice
exactly.
stuff. It feels good in your hands.
Yep.
It's solid. They don't make a bad product at all.
I haven't. The one thing I was going to say is I am buying like the high-end Ryobi. I don't buy any of like the
Is that Ryobi 1?
Yeah,
is that what they call it?
I think it's a 1 Plus or something.
Or 1 Plus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the brushless stuff.
Yeah.
It's, I am spending the extra money to get the nicer models. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. But none of them are ever broken. I've never really had any problems with them. They're not falling apart. They're not burning up. And they get the job done. And I don't have any complaints, and so I don't really have any reason to switch at this point.
Cool. Anything more to say on tools? Because I want to know more about like all the things you learned leading up to now. But I don't want to cut off the tools if you have more to say on tools.
I think the only other thing I would say is, again, just you don't need to feel that you need all these tools. Wait until you get jobs that seem to require the tools to get the job done either more efficiently or more professionally. Buy the tool then, use the money from the job to justify the tool. And then you have the tool, and that's how you want to go about it.
Nice.
So I'm still doing that. There's few little tools that I'm just waiting to that one job come up that I'm like, okay, now
Yeah,
I
you're
can
waiting
get
for
it.
a bigger tile job, right?
Bigger
You want to get
tile
a nicer
job.
wet saw?
Yeah, I want to get a nice wet saw. I'm looking to get a really nice pressure washing setup. Like I want one of these.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I want one
I
of
don't
these
even have that.
gas-powered pressure washers with, but the job hasn't really manifested.
That's cool.
But
That's the right attitude, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to just wait and never start their business or never take it from part-time to full-time because they have this idea that a million things have to be in place and it all has to be perfect before you can take that step. And you're just never going to get there if you don't just jump in and start doing it.
Yeah. Just take what you think that you know, or that you know, or that you think that you can do. Just start there.
Nice. So what else from your first year? Like what really solid lessons did you learn that you can maybe pass on so that other people kind of take the correct path? Or a faster path anyways?
I think that knowing what you're spending your money on and being really careful with your money, treating it as though almost it's not your money. In my head, I don't even think of the money as like this is a means to get something. I treat it as just numbers, right? And it's almost like, to me, it's almost like a video game of like, oh, my score for this month is this much. And I try to almost distance myself from it, like almost being real in a way. I don't know if that's a great strategy.
No, I know what you mean. I don't have better words to describe it, but I do a similar thing. I enjoy when I'm building up an account, like I have an account for materials for jobs. I enjoy watching the number in that account go up, and I enjoy watching it go higher than I know I'm ever going to need it to be. I know that account just for materials, I'm never going to need more than $5 or $6 grand in that account at any one time. By the time that gets depleted, a lot more invoices have paid out and rebuilt that account. But I like watching an account that needs $5 or $6 grand. I like watching it turn into 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And it does feel like a game, and it feels like a game I'm winning. And it feels good to be winning the game and to just have that little comfort inside going, even if my property manager purchased a whole other property management company and suddenly needed me to do twice as much work, I've got the money in the bank for the materials, I've got the tools, all I got to do is go buy a cheap van and get somebody to stick in that van and we can double up everything.
Yeah, exactly. But one thing that's not a game is making sure you're setting aside money, tax money. I think that, again, it's been said so many times, but I'm just going to repeat it because it's so important. Don't skip that step. Taxes set aside, because you just don't want to be under that pressure if you don't. You don't want that. You can avoid that by just going, okay, out of every dollar, I'm going to set aside X amount, which somewhere in the range of 25, 27%. I think the first year I was like, I'm going to make sure I'm going to get this handled. And literally every month I would add up everything that I made and take 30% and set it to the side. And by the end of the year, it was basically like a second savings account because I didn't even pay out anything. All that money that I set aside, bang, it's my money. I got to keep all of it.
Is that how you got the van, or
that was part of it? That was part of it. Most of the van was pure profit. And I was able to just buy it out.
That's great.
Without taking on any loans or anything like that.
What other kinds of knowing your numbers would you say that are, I mean, you can't list all of them, there's a million, but what are some of the really important things that they really need to understand about where their money's going? If you're not a numbers person or that feels daunting, obviously just as important as insurance and an LLC and picking up Jobber, because I love Jobber, getting a CPA, getting somebody that's going to handle the bookkeeping. Or there's options out there
for you to do your own bookkeeping, and it's really not difficult. It's not hard. It's not nothing that you can't figure out if you're also figuring out all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Once you get it set up, it's actually extremely easy. I spend less than 5 minutes. I go in my bookkeeping account, and I literally just click a couple check marks, and that's usually the most I have to do.
Yeah.
But I have everything in all these different types of graphs, bar graphs, pie graphs that I can see. I can see almost in real time the gross profit and the overhead and my revenue, and I can see all these matrix that feels like and makes me know I don't have to guess. I know what's going on. Yeah. I think having a bookkeeping is definitely a pillar of a business that you just can't ignore that.
Yeah. Nice. Any other lessons
around money? Or
I mean, just first year stuff. As far as, I think a lot of people watching there are some guys who have been doing it forever who just enjoy like the community aspect of these interviews, but a lot of guys are watching these because they're trying to figure out if they're going to jump in or how and when, or they're planning. So just anything at all, especially we're getting rained on too. Yeah. So I just want to make sure we have an opportunity for you to say anything that I haven't already sort of asked you about, if you think it's important for everyone to know.
I guess I just want to really emphasize, if you feel that this is something that is like a calling, if you have that in you, then you're probably the kind of person that can do something like this. I don't think it is for everyone, like literally everyone. I think you might be able to do a service type business, but maybe handyman isn't your thing, and that's totally fine. But a handyman is, I think, there's some requirements there. But if you
do you want to go into like what you think makes what traits make a good handyman?
Yeah, I think probably. Okay, so we've got all these different things. Being able to maintain, showing up on time. I think being time management is a big deal. Problem solver. You have to just sort of be a natural problem solver. You don't have to be, but it is going to be in your best interest.
You're going to do really well if that's what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And if it's not into problem solving, maybe handyman isn't for you. You might want to go into a career that's going to be more structured with guardrails.
Yeah, exactly. Should we?
Not if you have more. Do you have more to say about it?
Well, I don't want your
equipment to get rained on. We got a minute or two. Don't worry about my equipment.
Okay.
Any other traits that make a great handyman before we shut down?
Man, I'm trying to think, kind of like blanking here.
I think the problem solving is really the big one.
That is the big one.
Because I think all the other traits are just good business owner traits.
Yeah.
But to be a handyman, you do. What about learning, right? You have to be able to learn to be a handyman. You're not going to learn it all in a 1.5 year long trade school.
Yeah.
And then coast.
Yeah, you're gonna almost need a hunger to learn, to do research, to go after the answer, to go out and find the answer. You need that drive because no one's gonna push you towards it.
Yeah.
You have to go and find it.
Yep. Cool. Any last minute motivational words or anything before we wrap up? I'm gonna charge you for my camera if it gets broken.
Yeah, again, just, keep asking questions. If you're in this middle place of not sure, just keep asking questions. You're going to find the answer. You can do it. If I can do it, you definitely can. I promise you that. I'm nobody special. I'm just a guy that, decided to do something and just kept making that same decision.
And you just did it?
Yeah.
Cool. Right on. Well, man, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for everything.
You're welcome.
That was a good interview.
Awesome.